Good morning, everyone. My project, I guess, is a little bit different than the standard citizen science projects. This is an Earthwatch funded project, so I get volunteers from around the world, mainly the US and the UK, who pay to come out to beautiful Belize and snorkel and look for queen conch with me. So just one slide background. The reason for this project is that conch have been over-harvested throughout the range. They are threatened in many parts of the range. So the project that I am working on is in Belize in the Sapodilla Keys Marine Reserve. And the broad research goal of this project is to test the effectiveness of this reserve in protecting and replenishing the queen conch. We're doing a before-after control impact study. We were able to get to the reserve after the reserve boundaries were somewhat set, but before the boundaries, the zones were actually enforced. So this is a nice experimental design that we've been able to take advantage of. And ultimately, we want to provide information to the NGO that co-manages the reserve with the Department of Fisheries. The NGO is Sea Belize, for adaptive management of the reserve, but also part of this is to build capacity in local stakeholders and also to educate our volunteers, our Earthwatch volunteers, about the need for marine conservation. Just to give you an idea of quickly how we do this project, first, the volunteers, as I said, come mainly from the UK and the US, but we also we try to incorporate local participation as much as possible. We've had local university students, Department of Fisheries officers, Sea Belize scientists. We engage local fishers. We try to engage the local community as much as we can when we're in the field, but also when we're in PG or Punta Gorda, where we, on the mainland, where we stage our research from. So we start off on dry land, where they learn how to run belt transects, measure queen conch. It's a very straightforward experimental design, just getting basic demographic, measuring basic demographic parameters. And then we take them into the ocean, where they snorkel. And you can see some researchers here measuring conch and taking data. So the researchers are part of all the aspects of the project. They collect data from everything from collecting data to data analysis, to data entry. And we talk about data analysis with them as well. So some of the outcomes so far. Right now, the reserve was just enforced last year. It was proposed in 1996. So we have 4 years of pre-enforcement data, 1 year of post-enforcement data. So we're still working on the BACI analysis. But we've been able to share all of our data with the appropriate parties, raw and summarized in reports and presentations. We talk informally with the local community every chance we get. We meet regularly with Sea Belize and the Fisheries Department. We have influenced revisions of the zonation of the reserve. We've been able to provide support for the zoning patterns and the need for conserving queen conch in Belize, in southern Belize, and also the management plan. So that's been nice. We've helped to build capacity in the stakeholders. As I said, we work closely with fisheries. A fisheries officer always comes out with us now whenever we do our sampling. We engage stakeholders as much as we can. And again, we try to have a a big presence in PG, where we go to local restaurants, we hire local people for staff, so we're always out in the community talking about the research and the findings. And for the educating of the volunteers, whether they're Belizean or Earthwatch volunteers, we live with them 24 hours a day, 10 days a week, and 10 days a week, 10 days, and so we get to chat up. But I'll just end with this. One of the biggest outcomes is this cross-cultural education that we have, where our volunteers and the Belizeans learn from each other.